I am Larisa Davidova, and this is Halftone Pro. We are a graphic design tool for creating halftone patterns. Halftone is a pattern of dots, lines, or other shapes that looks like a gradient from a distance, but if you look closely, you can see that it is comprised of smaller elements. It is used in all kinds of graphic design, from logos, to packaging, to posters, to comics, which it is most famous for. And, of course, furniture. That thing over there has a halftone on it. But it may look simple, but it is extremely tedious and time-consuming to create by hand. But I made a tool that does this automatically. Halftone Pro allows the user to upload an image, create a halftone pattern out of it, and save it as a vector ready for print or import into any other software. In the beginning of April, we launched as a closed beta, and we had amazing results. Graphic designers shared our tool on their blogs and social media, and it was included in lists of useful tools by top graphic design websites. Since then, 2 weeks ago, we ended the beta and fully launched, and we got over 3,000 users, 10% of which are active users and 5% converted to paid. Excuse me, over 3,000 visitors. The feedback we got from the users was overwhelmingly positive. And the business model is a standard freemium model. We are offering full functionality for $9.95 with a limited free account, which puts a watermark on the image and doesn't allow vector export. But this is just one type of pattern that graphic designers are having trouble with. There are many others that could be easily created by software, and I am planning to release a whole set of tools which will become an essential part of every designer's toolkit that they will use every day. Another opportunity is a consumer app which will allow to use halftone as a filter on the user's photographs or selfies that they can post directly to Facebook or Instagram. The competition in this area is represented by two main categories of tools: the complex and platform-specific professional tools, and the lightweight, online, but very basic tools. The advantage of Halftone Pro is that it has all the functionality of a full professional tool, while being cross-platform and easy to use. It is currently online at halftonepro.com, and you can try it out, which we are going to do now. Okay, let me just launch it. I think I should sit here. As the user logs in, they have their photographs on the left, and they can choose an uploaded picture or upload a new one. We have presets which allow the designer to reuse their favorite pattern, no matter how complex it was, with one click. And we also have 12 pre-made shapes that are mostly simple, like squares, or circles, or triangles. Let me just zoom in a bit so you can see. It's a triangle. And if these are not enough, they can upload their own shape to use as an element. Another element type we have is a random character, which can be used to create a matrix effect. And we also have lines of varying width, which can be straight lines, or they can be not so straight lines. The pattern menu allows to control every aspect of the grid the halftone is drawn on, and also the size and rotation of the elements. And with this number of settings, the variety of the patterns that can be created is near infinite and goes way beyond the standard halftone technique. So the best part about the software is that the requirements for the underlying image are very low. It can be used with an image that is really small or really low quality or black and white, but the result will always be a high quality vector. Once we are done creating the pattern we need, we can save it as an SVG, which is a vector format, which is pretty universal. It can be imported into any other software, or a PNG, which is a raster format. Or we can also share it directly to Facebook and Twitter.
Do you have other people, or is it just you?
It's just me. I'm a developer, and I'm actually really passionate about programming graphics. It's what I love, and this is the way I want to make myself useful to graphic designers.
I think this would be great.
Thank you.
You plan to be only an online tool, or are you going to distribute as a plugin to like Photoshop and Illustrator as well?
I am planning to release plugins for major popular graphic design software, but right now the users are specifically coming to Halftone Pro for a cross-platform solution. But the plugins are in the plans.
As a business, do people pay huge premium for this? Or, I mean, I feel like I get a lot of this stuff in Photoshop, and so then I'm not a graphic artist though, so does a graphic artist then say, yeah, I paid $600 for my Photoshop, but I'm willing to pay $2,000 for this?
I'm not sure about specifically 2,000, I've never asked, but I do have a small portion of users.
How much are you going to charge for?
Right now I'm charging just $10 because it's a very small niche and I'm still testing the prices, but I do have a small portion of users who are obsessed with these patterns. They use this for hours, they generate a lot of patterns, they post it all over social media, and I think they are actually more excited about the process of creating them than the result. And I'm still trying to figure out what kind of extra functionality what kind of premium functionality I can offer those users.
So you said that your users are specifically asking for cross-platform support.
Yes.
How is that? That's my experience of working with graphical designers is that they're very particular about working on just their workstations to set up the way they want it, and they're not so much about like cross-platform in general. They're more about picking a specific tool they are used to. Well, how come cross-platform is interesting for your targets?
Well, this is exactly why they prefer to work on a specific platform, because there are so few cross-platform tools for graphic design. And I have users who say, I recently switched from my Mac to Windows, but my old tool that I used for it doesn't work on Windows, and I have to buy a new one for Windows, but then it won't work on the Mac. And this is the kind of problems I guess graphic designers started having now, because right now there's also a trend of designing on tablets, and they just can use Mac at work, Windows at home, and a tablet when they are traveling. And Halftone Pro keeps all their presets, all their images, and they can access it from wherever they want.
So it's from my perspective, nice user experience, nice user interface. Technically, how defendable is it? Is it something where we could expect Photoshop just adding another tab in the next version and you upload it and it's for free and you're good?
Absolutely not, because Photoshop, Adobe has demonstrated that they don't really care about specific graphic filters and patterns, because if you look at Photoshop or Illustrator, their default filters haven't changed in the last 20 years. So they are trying to move on to more like mock-ups and layouts tools than specifically graphic things. But on the other hand, this is what designers really need. A lot of designers really need, because if you look on stock photo sites, then these patterns are extremely popular and they are very expensive.
What about the consumer market? Have you, I mean, obviously you showed us something on the presentation, but have you modeled that in your plan?
We actually have some consumer users who just come to the site, see a nice looking pattern, upload their selfie or their child's photo, save a pattern, and pay us $10 for just one image.
That's great, but I assume that what you have there is more for professionals in the
Yes,
way it's structured.
but I do.
So for the consumer market, you probably have to strip it down to something that is easier to
Absolutely,
use.
and that was on one of my slides that I'm planning to
What about
release.
the pricing models and
The pricing will be definitely different, but I can't really tell how much it will be because I need to test that.
because if this were like a couple of dollars or something like that, then probably you can address a really large audience.
Yes, but
all over the
absolutely.
world needing to work on their photos.
Absolutely, but there is another challenge that here I have very little competition. It's very easy to capture graphic designers, but on the consumer market I will have to compete with all the filter apps that out there. But of course, having a professional tool which is popular with graphic designers will help me to spread the word to the consumers. That's why it is my next step.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Halftone Pro.